What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Joshua's Proximity. We know that I've been talking about pretty much this story or this saga for quite some time. It's the biggest and hottest story outside of the Shedeur Sanders saga. It's the saga in Indianapolis. And now we are starting to see a downward turn of the former fourth overall pick, Anthony Richardson. Was the third quarterback taken in the 2023 NFL Draft. He is pretty much done as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Until he goes to a team that has a solid starter where he can be a backup. Maybe the Los Angeles Rams is a great organization for him to go behind. Maybe even the Miami Dolphins, a team like that has kind of quarterback injuries. Hell, even if you want to send him behind Joe Burrow for some time, the Anthony Richardson saga or experiment is over. So recently, he just got benched to or behind Daniel Jones. Now, we all know Daniel Jones coming into this season, it was pretty much a stank show. We all agreed that the Giants made a mistake paying him instead of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley goes out there, he wins a Super Bowl, wins Offensive Player of the Year, rushes for over 2,000 yards, but the Giants decided to stick with him. Fast forward now, the Giants released him, and now Daniel Jones is basically on his journey of becoming a journeyman. And he outbeats a guy that was selected fourth overall. Not even that, a guy that, if you really want to be honest, the dude has all the physical capabilities of being a top-tier quarterback in the National Football League. He has the size. He has the mobility. He has the arm strength. But there's just something missing, and it's something that's missing the more and more that you look at it. I don't know if Anthony Richardson really understands what he sees out there on the field. We all know 2 weeks ago he was playing against the Baltimore Ravens where he ultimately dislocated his pinky because he made the wrong read on the right side of the field. That pass is supposed to go to the running back hot immediately because of a blitz that the Baltimore Ravens kind of just threw out there. And it goes to show that Anthony Richardson, one, doesn't get enough reps. He doesn't understand the game of football. Remember, this was a quarterback that said the NFL is easier or the college is easier than the NFL. It's easy to play in the National Football League. And now you fast forward it, and it looks like he was just talking out the side of his neck. A guy that was revered as probably and arguably the most talented guy out of his group. We all figured he was more talented than Will Levis, more talented than C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. He has all the tools. He just didn't have enough reps. So to sit here and see him go from the fourth overall selection, a guy that most of us said he needs more reps, to see him actually lose his starting spot to Daniel Jones, a guy that is going to be a journeyman, a guy that actually beats you in training camp, a guy who is revered as a bum. Daniel Jones is a backup in the National Football League. You lose your spot to a guy that was paid $14 million a year. The Colts failed you. You failed you. The whole organization and that whole regime failed Anthony Richardson terribly. I didn't think he would be this bad. And I don't believe that Anthony Richardson is this bad. Regardless of what it shows out on the field, yes, the product is the product, but there's no way that you're telling me Anthony Richardson loses a quarterback battle to Daniel Jones. I don't know. Obviously, the coaching staff has more sight and more vision of what they're seeing in practice, in the film room, in the weight room, in just everyday quarterback waves or quarterback, just everyday in the Indianapolis Colts. But just to see the way that he has struggled has been an eyesore. Anthony Richardson is no longer going to be a starter in the National Football League. I'm out here on the limb. I said he was a bust coming into the draft, and it's even ramping up even more that he is a bust. Probably one of the most memorable busts in recent history. But I do just want to transition just a little bit. So we also know, like I said, between this and the Shedeur Sanders saga, that has pretty much been the biggest saga in all of preseason. And last week, Dylan Gabriel actually had kind of a bad sight in his first preseason debut. Now, these are what the numbers look like. 13 completions out of 18 pass attempts, 143 yards, 2 turnovers. One was a fumble, one was a pick six. Now, if you actually watched the game and you wasn't stat watching, he didn't play bad. But as somebody would say, Josh, the numbers are the numbers. I understand the eye in the sky does not lie. But he did accumulate 2 turnovers. One, the handoff, maybe it was on him. Maybe it was on the running back. I'm always going to blame the running back because I played running back. Whatever the reason was, the ball should have never been on the ground. And then the interception was horrible. Now, he's rolling out to his left. He's a left-handed quarterback. They get him on a bootleg. And there's 2 receivers in the vicinity with 1 defender. A defender can guard both receivers in basically one stand. One receiver pulls his hand back, the DB picks it off, and takes it to the crib. That's not really too much to blame on Dylan Gabriel. But when you look at the comparison between him and his counterpart, Shedeur Sanders, right now, all bias aside, I would have to put Shedeur Sanders above him. And it's because he's taking care of the ball. Like I said, those 2 turnovers may not be his fault. That interception is probably the receiver's fault. The receiver has to make a better conscious effort of grabbing the ball. I don't understand why the hell he pulled his hands back to begin with. But when you look at Shedeur Sanders played a clean game. Now it's going to come down to this last preseason game. We know that the last preseason game is basically all backups. If your starter is playing in the last preseason game, that's not normally a great sign. Your starter should have had the first 2 games to get some reps in. Because the last game, all you want to see is the backup. Who is going to make the 53-man roster? Are the Cleveland Browns going to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster? Are they only going to keep 3? Are they going to let Kenny Pickett go? Are they going to trade away Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? It's yet to be seen. So I think moving into this preseason, final game, you're going to see what Shedeur has and what Dylan Gabriel has. You're going to see how the quarterback depth chart is going to be set for the Cleveland Browns. We all know Dan Jones is obviously starting for the Indianapolis Colts, and Joe Flacco is starting for the Cleveland Browns. But who's going to be the backup for the Cleveland Browns? Is it going to be Shedeur? Is it going to be Dylan? Is it going to be Kenny Pickett? We don't know. And I think that's the best thing about preseason because you get to see what the talent looks like. The Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, we got to get more reps. I did not like that Dave Canales only had Bryce Young in there for 1 or 2 series. He should have played a full quarter, especially against that good defense in Houston. But that's neither here nor there. Just moving forward, here are just some of the preseason games. Like I said, once again, the Carolina Panthers have the first preseason game on Thursday. Panthers versus Steelers. I'm always going to go with the home team. Panthers. Pats versus Giants. Give me the Giants in this matchups. Eagles versus Jets. I like the Jets in this. Falcons versus Cowboys. Give me the Falcons. Vikings versus Titans. I like the Vikings in this matchup. Ravens versus Commanders. You're not going to see any starters. The Commanders got kind of ran through. I'm going to go with the Ravens. Rams versus Browns. Give me the Rams. I think that you're going to see more and more Matthew Stafford showing this maybe preseason game. Bears versus Chiefs gives me the Bears. I would love what Caleb Williams did this first game. I would hope he would get just a couple more reps this last game. Broncos versus Saints, give me the Saints. Colts versus Bengals, give me the Colts. Seahawks versus Packers, give me the Packers. Bills versus Bucks, I like the Bills in this matchup. Texans versus Lions, give me the Lions. Jags versus Dolphins, give me the Jags. Raiders versus Cards, give me the Raiders. And then the last preseason game, Chargers versus 49ers, give me the Chargers. Once again, man, this is basically concludes all of Joshua's proximity, man. We are heading into the last and the final week of preseason. 53-man roster is going to be set. Make sure you continue just to check in later this week as we discuss my top 5 receivers heading into preseason. Once again, Joshua's proximity. We out, baby.